It really important that we think in that terms while we are setting the goals at initial stages only, because then if not, our goal might be not very realistic according to these conditions as well. So I think we definitely need to consider the course and race conditions, because the race conditions in India and the course condition in India are very much different than what our are there in outside of India, right? So because the very first thing is Goa is very humid. uh, it was by the run, when you start your running, it's like the recreational athletes mostly that go beyond 6 hours, 5:36 hours. It's almost too much of humidity and heat they have to bear on their run. So that is very first thing that you have to look for. And then Goa is again, it's almost, it's not a rolling hill, I will say, but it's not a flat as well. There are some steep ascents, there are some descents as well. There are some false roads which actually you do not have an idea that this is an ascent, but it actually there is a ascent slightly which you cannot actually, you just feel that while you ride or basically run. Yeah. So I think that these are the race conditions, or the basically the course conditions, sorry, that you have to consider. Another point that I would like to ask is, like, Indian government, or basically the Goa government, has worked on a lot, and even the Ironman 70.3 organization committee has tried to work on a lot on the infrastructure that goes onto the route. But you cannot expect the infrastructure that you are having outside of India in the Indian races, because India's most of the roads are basically somewhat patchy, or there are pathholes which they have tried at their level best, but it definitely, you cannot compare to the fast course or the things that you get outside. Okay, so that is another thing. And I think in terms of the race conditions, as I talked, that it's too much of hot and humid during your run. The same goes for the cycling as well. I am not sure what exactly is the course for the swimming right now, if they have changed or not. But during, I think, first few editions of the 70.3 Goa, the course was something like, you go in, you go horizontal or parallel to the beach, and then you go out. Okay, something like that. So now what happens is, when you go in and go out, it might be easy, but then when you swim parallel to your shore, that time what happens is you hit the waves, and that is going to move your direction a lot. You have to bear a lot of sighting, and there are a lot of things that you have to bear. And another thing is, if there are currents during that time, whenever your race is happening, then you have to uh, accommodate that as well. But I think that Goa's water, if that is near to shore, and it is not expected to have too much of currents or choppy. But if that course goes inside, that the conditions might change, because the sea level or sea conditions depending on that day always differ. So I think these should be the things that athletes should study from some of the previous races data, that what is their course has been, what are the conditions, and then set their goals, which is very important thing.